Jesus sat near the temple. He sat near the temple money boxes where people put their gifts. He watched the people put in their money. Many rich people gave large sums of money. Then a poor widow came and gave 2 small copper coins. These coins were not worth even a penny. Jesus called his followers to him. He said, "I tell you the truth. This poor widow gave only 2 small coins, but she really gave more than all those rich people. The rich have plenty. They gave only what they did not need. But this woman is very poor. But she gave all she had, and she needed that money to help her live." Do you like people watching? I do. I study their gestures, their mannerisms, imagine their journeys, where they've come from, where they're going, and why are they there? Is it have they just come to shop, or they come to see people, or are they in a train station doing what I'm doing, just watching people? Well, if you like people watching, you have something in common with Jesus. Jesus was a great watcher, not just of people, but of all that was around him. And he often drew on what he saw to teach his followers about God's kingdom. He would use something familiar, something that everyone could see, but if they cared to look. In today's story, Jesus was watching people as they made their money offerings in the temple. And among them, he saw a woman who was careful and thoughtful in her offering. It was not much, but it was pretty much all that she had. Jesus was drawn again. And you find all the way through the Bible, Jesus is again and again drawn to vulnerable people, to outcasts, to those who had little or no status or wealth. Perhaps he sees in them a heart of faith and trust, revealed in their actions, despite the circumstances and the challenges that they faced. Perhaps he wondered whether the disciples saw the same as he did, and whether they understood what sacrifice the woman was making. Hearing what looks like a simple act of giving is a lesson in real giving. Jesus points out that real giving must be sacrificial. The amount of the gift never matters as much as the cost to the giver. Not the size of the gift, but the sacrifice. Jesus points out many times in the Gospels that real generosity gives until it hurts. And it is not just limited to money. It could be our time. It could be our possessions. I find it strange and lovely at the same time that the person whom Jesus hands down to us as a pattern of generous giving was a person who gave a gift of so little value in monetary terms. We may feel that we have not much in the way of material gifts or personal gifts to give. But if we put all that, what we have, at Jesus' disposal, he can do things with it and with us that are beyond our wildest dreams and even imaginations. In the context of the climate crisis that we're going through, it could be the way we live. Are we prepared to make a sacrifice in these coming years in order to combat the present problems, in order to spare on other countries to respond in a positive way? There's a saying I've picked up recently that says, live simply so that others can simply live. Live simply so that others can simply live. And I encourage everyone to think on a global scale, as well as on the personal and local scale. What is the difference, if any, between simply living and generous living. If you do watch people, perhaps they remind you of events in your own life, some good, some less so. Perhaps they encourage you to reflect on your own circumstances, choices and actions that you've made. If you saw an action of overwhelming compassion or generosity, like that of the widow, would that stir you to do something similar? But there's more to it than just the doing of the action itself. You never know when your life, your actions will stir something into someone else. If that someone was people watching you, would they see something to inspire them?